Hi everybody and welcome back. This is How to Use Adjustment Layers Part 2. So continuing on with our same image of our fencer here, we have completed our overall adjustments to our exposure using the brightness and contrast sliders as well as our color balance. Now, though, we'd like to make a selective adjustment. I'm looking at the red here, both in her cap as well as her sweater, and I think we could add to the saturation just to make it pop out a little bit more. I don't want to add that saturation to the rest of the image, so we're going to make a selective adjustment, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So again, going back to our adjustment layer menu, we're going to choose Hue and Saturation this time. And let's do a dramatic shift just so that we can, just for example purposes, something like that. So you can see now how that really pops out the red in both her sweater and in her hat, her cap here under her mask. However, it does bring that kind of yellowy tone back out and it makes her face a little bit too reddish. So what we're going to do, there's a couple ways to do this. You can see here that it's white, right? It shows white on the adjustment layer, and that means that the adjustment is affecting everything. It can be seen everywhere. So what we want to do is actually cover it, and to do that, we want to change this to black. One way you can do that is by switching from this Hue Saturation menu to this Masks menu, and clicking Invert. So you can see now that it's changed to black here and in your layer, and that means the effect is still there, but it's covered. So now we want to reveal it only on these two sections. To do that, I want to make sure over here on the other toolbar that I'm on white, right, as opposed to the black, and I want to go up to my paintbrush. And I'm just going to paint that on the areas that I want to affect. So you can see that as I paint that on these red parts of the image, the saturation is being revealed. So you can see now on my layer, but also in my image, that I've affected only those areas of the image and not the rest. To show you better, maybe we can make that really dramatic. You can see that those are the only two parts of the image being affected. So this is really useful in terms of selecting out a part of your image that you want to impact without impacting the rest of your image. Let's show you another way to do that. We'll turn that off. Let's discard it. Okay, so down here at the bottom, we will select the same Hue Saturation. We're going to bump up our saturation quite dramatically. Instead of toggling back and forth between these two up here, you can also use your paint bucket. So right now the layer is white, so it's affecting the entire image. And we're going to flip that to black, and using our paint bucket, cover it up. So we've just done the same thing in a different way. So again, the effect is still there, but it's being covered right now. And then we will flip this back to white, use our paintbrush, and paint that saturation on the areas that we want to affect. And you want to be careful, somewhat careful when you do this, that you don't overlap into the other areas of your image. So I encourage you to zoom in and be pretty careful with your brush work. It's always useful to use a soft brush, so something with a hardness of 0%, because that way if you miss, it'll sort of cheat it a little bit along these edges here. If you do make a mistake, say we went all the way through the background there, and you can see I made a little extra line there, I can just flip this back to black and cover that up again. So you can always adjust your adjustment, even when it's a selection. And there, now we're back to affecting only her cap and her sweater. So that's another way to do it.